From inside the Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis, good evening and welcome. St. Francis today takes on Lewis University in a non-conference interdivisional matchup. The annual rivalry renewed between the Saints and the Flyers. First meeting for them since December of 2019. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call today as we're ready to get started. Jem Kerseman at midcourt against E.J. Charles for the opening tip. It's won by Lewis, but he may have left a little bit too early. And so on the violation, it'll be Fighting Saints basketball to open up today's game. The Saints in gold go from right to left here in the first half. The Flyers are in black, going from left to right. And we're ready to get moving here. The Fighting Saints led tonight by Rock Allen, the assistant coach who is subbing for Ryan Marks. Coach Marks is out sick today. So Rock Allen gets his first job as the head coach for the season. He did fill that seat once last year as well. Carter Fahey sets it up for the Saints, and he's fouled up top. 9 seconds in, we've already had 2 whistles blow against Lewis. First on the jump ball violation, and now on a foul. That one called on Jameer Hill outside. So Hill is whistled for his first and the game's first. Bo Freeriks, Jem Kerseman, Devon Vanderheit, and Marion Anderson make up the rest of the Lewis starting lineup for head coach Scott Trost, the longtime head man for the Flyers. In traffic, Aitor Anabadarte sends it outside, and he's whistled for 3 seconds. I thought there was a chance they were going to get him for traveling just prior to that, but he ended up getting called for staying a little bit too long in the painted area. Good defense down low on Anabadarte, coming off of his best game of the season. Three-pointer from the left wing misses from Vanderheit. And here come the Fighting Saints as we continue to look for the first points of today's game. Saints are still looking for their first field goal attempts. Nadav Gerner is the point guard, along with Darius Wright in the backcourt. Aitor Anabadarte, E.J. Charles, and Carter Fahey make up the rest of the starting lineup. It's Anabadarte in the post against Vanderheit. Turns towards the basket, runs into trouble, but is able to lay it up between 2 defenders. Vanderheit and Kerseman were both in his way, but Aitor Anabadarte is able to lay it in anyway for the first 2 points of the game. Aitor came into play today, averaging just over 15 points per game to lead the Fighting Saints this season. Bounce to the outside, it's Vanderheit along the baseline. Layup is wild and no good. Rebound to Carter Fahey. Fahey pushes it across half court and slows it down. Darius Wright, long three, on the money. Wright's been good from the outside all season, 36% as a three-point shooter, and Darius Wright is on the board. Wright entered play today exactly 3 points behind Aitor Anabadarte for the team lead, and now he's at +1 for the game. 2 of them have been both up around 15 points per game all year as Darius Wright comes up with a steal, jumping in the passing lane right there. Good start for the Saints. They lead it 5-0. Fahey was looking for Charles on the drive. Charles got his feet tangled up with Jameer Hill. He gets it inside now and misses off the glass. Rebound goes to the team in black. Hill passes off to Bo Freeriks. Pull up in the lane off the back iron. Freeriks is the leading scorer this season for Lewis. Came up empty on his first field goal attempt of tonight's game. Fahey tries to get it to a cutting Darius Wright. It's kicked by Devon Vanderheit. .21 on the shot clock for the Fighting Saints at the inbound from the baseline. Into Anabadarte. Thought about the jumper. Kerseman closed in quickly, so instead Anabadarte takes it inside and draws the foul. Aitor Anabadarte has done a lot of things well for the Fighting Saints this season, but this is probably number 1 on the list, getting himself to the free throw line. He's taken more than twice the number of free throws as anyone else on the team, and he very rarely misses, especially lately. So he knocks down the first there. He is the best free throw shooter on the team at around 83%. And add a 2 for 2 today. He's got 4 points. St. Francis 7. Lewis, nothing. What a start for USF today. Hill drives the lane. Hill gets around Carter Fahey and lays it up from the left side. Nice drive from Hill for the first Lewis points of the game. Took him nearly 3 minutes, but they're on the board. Here's Darius Wright around the screen to the left. Down to the corner, it's E.J. Charles. Nadav Gurner resets with the shot clock half gone. Wright drives this time, up with the left hand and in. Wanted a foul called in addition, but he'll have to settle for the 2 points. 5 for Darius Wright. Nadav Gurner comes up with the takeaway. Rips it out of the hands of Freericks, and a timeout called by St. Francis with Gurner pressured down on the ground. Great start for the Fighting Saints today. 16:41 to play in the first half. They lead Lewis by a 9-2 count, and it'll be St. Francis ball coming out of the 32nd timeout. Nadav Gurner picks up another steal, his 18th this season. The defense for the Fighting Saints has been very strong today. On the offensive side, it's been Wright and Anabadarte, and they've been the 2 best scorers for this team all season. But early on today, they've taken it to another level. They've taken almost all of the field goal attempts today for the Saints, and they've scored all of the points, 5 of them for the senior Wright and 4 for the junior Anabadarte. From the sideline, the Saints will inbound coming out of the timeout. Lewis puts on a little bit of pressure here. Nadav Gurner's able to beat it across the timeline. Down low to Carter Fahey. Fahey posting up on Anderson. To E.J. Charles. Charles is blocked at the rim by Vanderheit. Darius Wright nearly came up with the steal. Lewis working maybe a little bit too quickly right there. Darius Wright was onto them, and he's still shaking his head. Upset with himself for not coming up with the steal, but he was at least able to knock it out of bounds and force Lewis into the half-court offense. Bo Freericks passes it off to Marion Anderson. Back to Freericks, an excellent outside shooter. Nadav Gurner's not giving him any space. Nearly stole it again, but Gurner lost it along the sideline. Second time in this possession that the Saints nearly came up with a steal. But instead, for the second time, Lewis inbounds it from the sideline. This is Hill. Pull-up jumper from the elbow, rattles it home. Wright lobs it in for Carter Fahey. Fahey is grabbed by Marion Anderson. Foul is called on Anderson. Number 2 on Lewis, first on him. And it'll reset the possession for the Fighting Saints. Saints came into play today at 10-8, winners of their last 2 matches, which has moved them above 500 for the season. Darius Wright lays it in. This one won't count towards the record. It is officially an exhibition game against a Division III opponent. Fired inside, laid up and in. A Division II opponent, rather, and Jem Kerseman gets himself to the free throw line. Chance for a 3-point play here for the sophomore from Turkey. Jem Kerseman came into today averaging just about 5 points per game. He's 7 of 13 from the free throw line. And he makes this one here to stay above 50%. 4-point game. The Saints have led by as many as 7 a couple of times. But a big 3-point play for Lewis tightens things up. Still very early in the first half. Carter Fahey nearly lost it, but he's able to rein in that pass. Wright's pass is deflected, but right back to him. Saints have dodged a couple of bullets so far on this possession. Carter Fahey's able to turn it into 2 points. Fahey knocks down the jumper for his first score of the game. St. Francis very efficient on offense so far. Here's Anthony Sales putting the ball on the floor. Sales came on for Bo Freericks just a moment ago. Lost out of bounds. Last touch by Lewis. Marion Anderson, the freshman, just had that ball slip out of his hands, ended up kicking it out. So a turnover gives the ball back to the Saints, and Rock Allen goes to his bench. Ben Kreitz is in. Lewis McGlasson is in. Charles and Anabadarte head out. Vlado Zernic is in for Lewis. Fahey drives baseline, contact, and an offensive foul. Marion Anderson took the charge, and St. Francis turns it over. Second foul of the half called on the Fighting Saints. Justin Phillips in off the bench for the Saints. Here's Hill. Jameer Hill to the lane, no good on the run. Fight for the rebound, and finally scooped up by Darius Wright. Wright leads the charge off to Lewis McGlasson, and he gives it back up top. The Saints set up the offense. McGlasson for three, in and out. Rebound Vlado Zernic. Hill drives, kicks. Anderson thought about the three, gives it up instead. It's Vanderheit. He got Lewis McGlasson up in the air, and McGlasson, trying to recover defensively, is whistled for the foul on the floor. First on McGlasson, third on the Fighting Saints. Lewis trailing by 6. He'll start the possession over from the sideline. Making a move to his right. Hill pulls up. His jumper misses short. Rebound goes right back to him. Another opportunity for Lewis. Anderson down low to Zernic. Back to Anderson, who fires the three. It's good. Marion Anderson from the outside. First three-pointer of the game for Lewis. Just the second made three this year for Anderson. And the Flyers, for the first time since very early, are back within one score. Darius Wright goes too high looking for Carter Fahey and airmails him out of bounds. So the Saints turn it over, and Lewis has the ball back with an opportunity to tie the score on a three. Saints scored on their second possession of the game and have led this one ever since. Three-pointer for the tie, no good. Rebounded by McGlasson. Vanderheit off the mark on that shot. Here's Kreitz on the outside. One bounce, a pass up top. Darius Wright, good look for three, but he missed it off the front iron. And Vanderheit takes it the other direction. Bit of a lull in scoring now for the Fighting Saints. They'll try to keep themselves in front on the defensive end. Hill puts it on the floor. Pull up at the free throw line. Lobs it down low, Zernic. Zernic in traffic, rolls it in. Impressive move down low for Vlado Zernic. Zernic is a 4.4 points per game scorer off the bench for Scott Trost's squad this year. Showing good post moves against a smaller St. Francis team. Ben Kreitz gives it up to Justin Phillips. Knocked away by Anderson and out of bounds. The ref nearly saved that one for Lewis, but he was able to get out of the way. And it will stay with the Fighting Saints. Darius Wright heads to the bench. Jake Carley in for the first time for the Saints, so Carter Fahey is the only starter on the floor right now. Just over 12 minutes to play in the first half. Great start for the Fighting Saints, but Lewis has turned it around of late. They trail by just one. Justin Phillips passes off to Kreitz. Nice fake, steps in, two-point jumper is good at the buzzer. How about that from Ben Kreitz with the shot clock running down. He makes the nice move to set himself up for a shot. And it's a three-point lead once again for the Saints. Sales blows right by Carley to the rim, and he lays it in over Lewis McGlasson. Good drive from the sophomore Anthony Sales. Phillips on the wing. Guarded out there by Colin Kenny. Carley gives it up to Lewis McGlasson. McGlasson works around the perimeter, bounces it to Carter Fahey. Shot clock running low once again. Fahey backs in. Fadeaway jumper on the turnaround is no good, and Anderson grabs the rebound. Lewis can take their first lead of the game here. Anderson looking for the entry pass to Zernich. Didn't have him. Good defense by McGlasson. So they work around the outside. Elijah Williams. Kenny now over to Sales. And a foul is called on St. Francis. Things getting a little bit too physical down low between McGlasson and Zernich. And Lewis McGlasson is called for his second foul. Aitor Anabararte is back on the floor for the Saints. Casimir Ochiaka makes his first appearance. Lobbed in for Elijah Williams, freshman from Georgia. Bo Freericks is back out there for Lewis. He sends it into the corner. Now down low, Zernich. Kenny fires the three. Rims out. Rebound poked around and brought in by Lewis. Elijah Williams stuck with it. Freericks kicks it out to Kenny. Kenny nearly lost it. Now he's left all alone and hits the three. Lewis is in front for the first time. They trailed 11-4. Since then, a 13-4 run in their favor. Kenny has his first points of the day. Casimir Ochiaka picked him up, but then backed off, and there was nobody to switch. Justin Phillips drives out to McGlasson. Nothing's come easily for the Saints offensively of late. Knocked free of Lewis McGlasson out of bounds, and McGlasson touched it last. Anthony Sales poked it free, but ultimately out of bounds on the team in gold, and so it is Lewis basketball. For the first time today, they've got the ball and the lead. 10:05 to play in the first half. E.J. Charles is back in there for the Saints, who got off to a hot start with the starters out there, and now with the team fading a bit, Rocky Allen's going back to the opening unit. Williams up top to Freericks, into the post. It's Vlado Zernich. Kicks it out to a wide open shooter. The three-pointer misses from Anthony Sales, but the tip in is there. 19-15 Lewis. Their run is now 15-4. Anabararte bounces it down low to Ochiaka. Up with the right hand, misses the floater. Rebounded by Lewis. Kenny ahead for Zernich, who sends it in with two hands. And Lewis is on a roll. They've turned this game around completely after a very slow start those first few minutes. Aitor Anabararte, the ball handler right now for the Fighting Saints. He's in trouble. Finds Ochiaka. Phillips, quick pass into Anabararte. Anabararte backs in. On the baseline, loses it, gets the ball back, sends it to the cutting Jake Carley. Carley misses with the right hand. And the rebound goes to Bo Freericks. Another empty possession for the Fighting Saints. 6-point lead for Lewis. They've scored the last 9 in a row. Left side, it's Kenny. Kenny on the baseline. Stripped and fouled. Fifth foul on the Fighting Saints. It'll send Colin Kenny to the free throw line. First foul on Phillips. First free throws of the season for Colin Kenny. And the first one is good. 10-0 run for Lewis. Saints haven't scored in 4 minutes now. We've got a stoppage here. I'm not sure if there's a bleeding player. I think Bo Freericks might be bleeding. Looks like they're going to the sideline to patch him up. And so he checks out for the time being. Hill is back in. And Kenny gets a second free throw. Got them both. So he's perfect on the season. Here's the press once again from Lewis. Anabadarte to Phillips, and Phillips gets it across half court to Jake Carley. Three-pointer. A big one for Jake Carley. Saints needed a bucket badly. They had gone 4 minutes without scoring. Lewis went on an 11-0 run. But Carley gets St. Francis right back in this thing. 23-18 the scores. We're starting to get into the latter stages of the first half. Here's Hill. Pulls back out. Jameer Hill out to Colin Kenny. Steps inside the three-point line and misses the jumper. Offensive rebound. Another chance for Kenny. And he misses a second in a row. Knocked out of bounds off of Carley. Good play by Elijah Williams. Carley looked content to let that ball go out. Tried to get out of the way of Williams, and Williams did a wonderful job of just tapping it as he went by off of Carley and out of bounds. So Carley checks out. Wright is back in. Lewis will get their third chance of this possession. Vanderheit passes off to his left. Hill into the corner for Sales. 10 on the shot clock. Back to Devon Vanderheit. Steps in. Two-point jumper is good. Carter Fahey has his back to the basket. Passes off to the right side, and Justin Phillips. Now back down low to Fahey, who lays it in. Fahey turned around quickly, realized there's nobody in his way. He banked it in. Sales for three. It's good. Lewis has gotten hot from the outside after a slow start on their jump shooting. They've really turned it on of late. And their lead is up to 8. E.J. Charles underneath the basket, double team. Sends it out towards Aitor Anabadarte, but it's off his fingertips and into the backcourt. Aitor Anabadarte touches it up for the backcourt violation. 6:19 to play in the half. 8-point lead for Lewis, and they'll try to take their first double-digit lead on this possession. Jameer Hill inbounds. Vanderheit over to Sales. Back to Hill on the left side. One dribble, jump shot, good. Lewis has taken this game over. They trailed 11-4. That was their biggest deficit. Since then, they've outscored St. Francis 26-9. The 11-0 run that initially gave them the lead was the big spurt of the game. Fahey misses a jumper, rebound Sales. Quick shot from Carter Fahey. Anderson on the other end. No good on the tip. Vanderheit will be waved off. Basket interference on the offense. St. Francis basketball. Down 10. Trying to go on a run before halftime. They know they've got them in their capabilities, considering how they started this game. Lobbed into Fahey. Fahey dribbles inside, lays it up the right hand and in. 6 points for Carter Fahey. And a good drive that time. Anderson looking inside for Kerseman. Hill drives and sends it through for 2 more points. 8 points for Hill. He's picked up the slack, one of several Lewis players who has, with Bo Freericks not having scored yet. Freericks is Lewis's leading scorer for the year. Ineffective early, and he's been on the bench with an injury of late. Fahey knocks down the three. Carter Fahey's turned it up over the last few minutes. He's scored 5 in a row for the Saints. He now leads all scorers with 9 points, and he's kept St. Francis alive here in the first half. Foul pretty far from the basket there. It's number 6 on USF. It will not result in free throws. Number 2 on Carter Fahey. Nadav Gerner is back in for the Saints. They've got all 5 starters on the floor. We'll see how much longer Rock Allen sticks with Fahey, playing with 2 fouls as Vanderheit knocks down the jumper. Anabadarte's pass is intercepted. Anderson takes it away. 2-on-1. Gives it up to Zaric, and he scores with a foul. Vlado Zrnic with a power move inside. And a chance at a 3-point play. Second foul on Aitor Anabadarte. So now that's 2 St. Francis bigs with a pair of fouls each. Zrnic, 78% free throw shooter, makes 1 more here. The lead keeps expanding for Lewis. Stops have been very hard to come by for the Fighting Saints. Nearly taken away from Darius Wright. Anderson anticipated that pass. Wasn't quite able to finish it. Nadav Gerner is hounded by Hill. Gerner spins it inside the arc. Gives it up to the cutting E.J. Charles. Bounce to Anabadarte. Aitor Anabadarte is fouled by Vanderheit. 3:49 to play in the first half. Hot start for the Saints, but it's been all Lewis for a long time now. And St. Francis is trying to keep it close so they can make some adjustments at halftime. Anabadarte's first free throw is good. He's 3 of 3 from the line tonight. 5 points now for the junior center from Spain. Second free throw rims out. E.J. Charles tries to grab the offensive rebound, and he apparently did, but his heel was on the baseline as he pulled it in. Anabadarte checks out. Ben Kreitz is in. Fahey's still on the floor. Vanderheit passes to Hill. Freerick steps into the 3. No good. Rebound tipped into the hands of Nadav Gerner. Gerner to right, cross-court Fahey. Good ball movement by the Fighting Saints. Now Nadav Gerner's got the center Vlado Zrnic on him. Gerner tries to take Zrnic off the dribble, kicks it outside. Charles for 3. No. And a foul on the rebound called on Hill. Had the left arm wrapped around Carter Fahey. Lewis bench unhappy with it, but that's a pretty obvious call. Easier probably to see from this angle than from where their bench is located. Carter Fahey turns towards the basket, a couple of dribbles, jumper rims out. Rebound to Vanderheit. 2 fouls on Hill now, 5 on the Flyers. Hill drives underneath the basket, sends it out to Anderson. 3. In and out. And it does not fall for Lewis. Steal for the Fighting Saints. It looked like Zrnic had brought in the rebound. Darius Wright's able to come out of the pile with it, though. Fahey sends it into Charles, and the ball is kicked on its way to Charles. Still found E.J. Charles, and he was able to lay it in, but that doesn't count. Kicking was called first. E.J. Charles has switched things up today, wearing number 14 instead of the customary 13. Used to be number 10, I think, a couple of years ago. Fahey's flipped it up just for this game. I don't know if it's a permanent change. Charles has it outside. Shot clock down to 12. It's Ben Kreitz. Over to Fahey. Down into the post, Charles once again. To the cutting Darius Wright. Wright lays it in. Nice movement without the ball from Darius Wright. E.J. Charles is able to find him. Saints cut it back to a single-digit deficit with under 2 minutes to play in the half and a timeout called by Lewis. The Flyers are having a tough season so far. They're just 7-11 overall, though coming into play today, they've won 2 of their last 3 games. That includes one against a top 15 nationally ranked team at the Division II level. So they're playing a little bit better lately anyway. But it is uncharacteristic to see them below 500. Scott Trost has been there for the better part of 20 years. And only once has he incurred a losing record. That was in the 2019 and 20 season. They finished 2 games below the 500 mark. Other than that, they've had a winning record every year. Not on pace for it so far this season, although a lot of games are still to be played over the next couple of months. Nine-point lead for the Flyers here with under 2 minutes to play. 20 on the shot clock as we resume action. Drive from Sales. Layup is good from the left side. 7 for Anthony Sales. Big final 100 seconds of the half here for the Fighting Saints. Lewis will try to pull away going into the intermission. E.J. Charles along the baseline, reverse layup, got it. Charles looked like he was really angling for the foul. He was trying to draw the contact on his way in. There certainly was a lot of contact, no foul called, as he flipped it high into the air and scored anyway. Inside Zernich, no good. Second chance, missed it again. Third chance is there. First time he was turned away by Kreitz. The second time Fahey forced a tough shot for him, but no box outs, and Zernich on the third effort is able to finish. Fahey to Charles. E.J. Charles steps in, nice fake, and he's able to finish with the layup. Six seconds separate the shot and game clocks here. Lewis will try to run a good portion of that clock, or those clocks, I guess I should say. Anthony Sales dribbles along the outside, right at half court. Sales drives to his left, kicks it into the corner. Anderson with the clock at 4, called for an offensive foul. E.J. Charles takes the charge, and the Fighting Saints have 10.5 seconds here to try to get the last shot and make this one a little bit tighter at halftime. There will be apparently a single-digit deficit. Nadav Gurner, 4 seconds, into Carter Fahey. Fahey, one dribble, backs in, no good. Fight for the rebound. Fahey is able to come up with it, but not enough time to get another shot off. So it started well for St. Francis. They led 7-0. They had a 7-point lead as late as 11-4. And then after taking a 15-12 advantage, Lewis went on an 11-0 run. Flyers took over the game and appeared to be pulling away. St. Francis was able to tighten it up again a little bit in the last few minutes. And so we've got a game going into the last 20 minutes of the contest. It's Lewis 41, St. Francis 32. I'll take my leave during halftime. Back in just under 15 minutes. We'll get your first half stats and second half action. Saints trail at the break here on the USF Sports Network. Individually, Carter Fahey and Darius Wright lead the way for the Saints with 9 points each. For Lewis, it's Vlado Zernich with 9 points in 11 minutes off the bench. Jameer Hill's got 8, and their leading scorer this season, Bo Freericks, has been held scoreless on 0 of 2 shooting so far, but they haven't needed him thus far. This is Freericks in possession right now. Sent around to the left corner, it's Hill. Down low, Darius Wright tries to take it away. Lewis hangs on, though. Jem Kerseman gets it back from Vanderheit and misses. Kerseman's the guy who kept that ball going for Lewis when it looked like they had lost it. He and Vanderheit kept the possession moving, but couldn't turn it into any points. E.J. Charles, quick three, no good. Rebound, Kerseman. Saints shot just 6 times from beyond the arc in the first half. Didn't get a lot of good looks from out there, but they were successful when they took them. They were good from wherever they shot the ball. Shooting was not the problem. In fact, offense in general was pretty good from the Saints in the first half. They struggled on the defensive end against an athletic Lewis team, and Hill is going to the free throw line right now. Jameer Hill had a good first half, 4 of 6 shooting, 8 points, a couple of assists. He's got his 9th point of the game now on that foul shot. Hill is a 75% shooter from the line. Hit them both. It's 43-32. Biggest lead for Lewis today has been 12. Saints were up by as many as 7. In fact, they led 7-0. But the Flyers took over after those first 5 minutes or so. Carter Fahey beyond the three-point line. Takes a few dribbles, pulls it back out with now 10 on the shot clock. It's Nadav Gurner. Gurner drives to the left. Back up top, Darius Wright. Good pass to Carter Fahey, and Fahey's not able to finish. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Darius Wright. Lewis picked up their defense after the first few minutes, and they have kept it going ever since. That intensity's been strong. Aitor Anabadarte is the Saints' leading scorer this year. He made the first shot of the game today and has not even attempted one since. Pull-up jumper for Hill. Just grazed the front of the rim that time. And Darius Wright picks up the loose ball. Ahead to Anabadarte, bounce down low to Fahey. Fahey, one more pass, E.J. Charles, and Charles finishes at the rim. 6 points for E.J. Charles. Saints have their first points of the second half. Lob down low, Kerseman, too strong off the glass, grabs his own miss. Kerseman creates space and scores on the second chance. Just used his big body right there to force E.J. Charles out of the way, and Jem Kerseman is able to score his second field goal today. Darius Wright from the outside misses the 3. Offensive rebound, St. Francis. Those have been hard to come by for the Fighting Saints today. See if they can turn it into second chance points, something they've not been able to do yet. Anabadarte misses the 3 and a loose ball foul on Wright. Second chance points now 14-0 in favor of Lewis, and you can do the math yourself, but an 11-point lead for the Flyers. Not hard to figure out where the difference has come from in this game. Vlado Zernic checks in for Jem Kerseman for Lewis. Anderson cuts and kicks. It's Freerichs missing the three-pointer. He's still scoreless. Another offensive rebound. Vanderheit, though, throws it away. Here come the Saints on the break. Charles ahead for Gurner. Nadav Gurner lays it in. First points of the game. First field goal attempted today by Nadav Gurner. The junior point guard makes it a 9-point game. It's seemed to settle right around here for a while now. It's been a 9 or 11-point game. Gurner gets the steal. Ripped it right out of the hands of Bo Freerichs. Good job by Lewis getting back on defense, but Fahey is open for 3, misses, and it's rebounded by Vanderheit. Pressured in the backcourt, but Vanderheit is able to get it off to Hill. Marion Anderson hit a three-pointer earlier, just his second this year. He'll try to make it 3, but he misses this one short. Offensive rebound, Vanderheit. Left completely unchecked that time by the Fighting Saints. Here's Bo Freerick spinning into the paint. Bounced outside to Anderson. This time he elects not to shoot. Gives it up to Bo Freerick, who does take the jumper and makes it. First points of the game for Freerick, and he's a lights-out shooter. Freerick wanted the three, but it wasn't there for him. He settled for two, and he's got his first two today. Lobbed for Fahey in the post. Double team stripped by Vanderheit. Came in from behind. Fahey never saw him. Hill lobs it ahead for Zernich, and Zernich lays it in. Lewis has their biggest lead today, a 13-point game with 15:18 to play. Timeout called by St. Francis. That's Rock Allen calling the timeouts for the Fighting Saints today. Making his head coaching debut this season, Ryan Marks is out sick today as the Fighting Saints play a rare mid-season exhibition against this Lewis team that they have seen almost every year. Again, we've had a 3-year break during the pandemic, but they're back in action today. This has typically in recent years been a December matchup, late January game between Lewis and St. Francis today. The Flyers have won the last 4 meetings. They've generally been close, really only one big blowout in there. You'd expect Lewis to have the advantage, considering they play at a higher level of competition, NCAA Division II, but this has been a good rivalry over the years. And what a start today for St. Francis. Ever since Lewis figured it out on the offensive end, though, they just haven't let up. The Flyers are shooting 50% from the field. 11 points now for Vlado Zernich. The reserve center who came into play today, averaging just 4.5 points per game in under 14 minutes played. Zernich today has already played 14 minutes, and he's almost tripled his season scoring average. Against a full court press, Saints are able to get it in. Now can they get it across half court? Yes, they can. Quickly answered my question there. Bounced down low to Carter Fahey. Fahey sends it to the corner. Aitor Anabarate into the post. This is Fahey backing in. Turnaround, no, but he's hit across the forearm. And so he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Lewis University foul number 24, Devin Vanderheit, his second.
Second foul on Vanderheit. Carter Fahey to the line, where he's made 75% of his attempts this year. 1 for 1 so far on this trip. Fahey made them both, 49-38. Saints hanging around. Every time Lewis has gone ahead by double figures, the Saints typically have been able to come up with a basket on the ensuing possession to prevent the Flyers from pulling away. They went up by 12 with about 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. Turnaround from Zernich is an air ball, rebounded by Gerner. Over the last 10 minutes of game time, they haven't been able to extend that at all. Fahey turns around and he makes it a 9-point game. It's just been hovering around this point for a long while. Hill drives, spins around Fahey, comes up short. Offensive rebound, Zernich. He dishes off to Anderson in traffic, kicks it out to Freericks. 3-pointer for Freericks, gets the bounce. Off the front of the rim. He was able to ricochet it off the backboard and in. Freericks has excellent touch from the outside, and that time helped out by a friendly rim as well. He's starting to get going. 5 points for him. He did not score in the first half. Deflected out of bounds by Vlado Zernich. Justin Phillips tries to get it in for Ben Kreitz. It was kicked. by Lewis. Phillips, Kreitz, and Carly are all in right now for St. Francis. This is when things started to slip away from them in the first half. The second unit of Lewis really controlled the pace of the game. Carly fires the three and hits. Big three, Jake Carly. Just about to say it is incumbent upon the bench players here in the second half to keep the Saints in this game. And Jake Carly gets them off to a good start. Hill pull up off the glass. No. Rebound Fahey. Darius Wright pushing it ahead for St. Francis. Wright takes it into Zernich and he draws the foul. It's Vanderheit picking up his third. St. Francis very much alive in this game, trailing by 9. They have not been closer than 9 at any point during the second half. They can change that here with an excellent free throw shooter, getting 2 attempts. Darius Wright at 82% on the season. And this is on the first. And I've been talking about it repeatedly throughout this second half. They've not gotten closer than 9, but the game has essentially been played within 1 or 2 baskets. Both teams have just kind of traded points. Wright makes the second free throw and checks out for Lewis McGlasson. Here's Jameer Hill across half court. Hill takes it down into the corner. Now works in on Carly. Hill underneath the basket, kicks out to Freericks. Freericks around McGlasson, loses the ball going up. And here come the Saints. Justin Phillips pulls it up at the three-point line and lets everybody get set. Saints can really tighten it up on this possession. It's Carly. Out to Carter Fahey, shot clock at 13. Fahey makes his move in on Elijah Williams, picks up the ball, gives it to Jake Carly. Fahey, long three, no good. Rebounded by Hill. Missed opportunity for St. Francis, and Lewis can make it a double-digit advantage again here. They do. Vlado Zernich off the pass from Jameer Hill. What a game today for Zernich. Senior from Greendale, Wisconsin. Ben Kreitz on the wing. Up to Carly. Here's Carter Fahey. Phillips with the shot clock running down. Back to Fahey. Fahey drives on Zernich. Puts up the two-point jumper and knocks it down with the shot clock at just 1 second. Carter Fahey connects. 15 points for the senior Fahey to lead all scorers today, and he's keeping the Saints in it. They just will not go away here. Williams is bumped by Ben Kreitz, and a foul called on the Fighting Saints. Here come some subs for the Saints. Anabadarte and Charles back in the game, and Kazmir Ochiaka checks in as well. So 2 starters and another reserve come in. Into the corner, Sales all alone, misses the three. Saints catch a big break right there. They completely lost track of Anthony Sales on that inbounds play, but his three-pointer misses. Another good opportunity for St. Francis to get themselves back in it. It's Ochiaka in the post, up with the left hand, doesn't get the roll. Rebound Zernich, and again it's one and done for the Saints. That's been the case all night. Lobbed into the paint by Sales and intercepted by Ochiaka. He was out of control that time. Ochiaka's pass towards Anabadarte is kicked. It'll stay down here. Almost at the midway point of the second half. Saints haven't gained any ground on Lewis, but they haven't lost any either. They were down 9 at halftime. Here's Aitor Anabadartse working hard inside, and he rolls it in. Aitor Anabadartse's first field goal since the opening minutes. He's got 7 points, and Lewis calls timeout. 10:41 to play, 54-48. We've got a ball game here. Wasn't looking good for the Fighting Saints late in the first half as Lewis appeared to be running away. With over 4 minutes to go, they took a 12-point lead, their biggest of the game to that point, but they couldn't extend it. Saints started to chip away and chip away. They kept it right around the 10-point mark for the next 12, 13 minutes of the game. And now here we are with 10:41 to play, and they're back to within 2 possessions. This is as close as it's been in a while. Lewis is still out rebounding St. Francis in this game dramatically, and that's one area that the Saints really want to clean up if they're going to have any chance at completing this comeback. They're at a -10 right now in the rebound column, but other than that, they're outplaying Lewis in a lot of ways right now. Division II opponent. Here's Freericks, down into the corner, Kenny. Freericks kicks it out to the wing. 7 to shoot for Williams. Way outside, Freericks fakes the shot, steps in, wide open jumper is good. He got Ochiaka to bite on the fake, and that opened up a lot of room for him. Bo Freericks, a 40% three-point shooter, has 8 points for the game now, his second made 3. And that was a huge one for Lewis out of the timeout with the shot clock running down. There's Justin Phillips on the drive. He's hit on the floor. 3rd foul of the half on Lewis. Anthony Sales is called for his first. Shot clock sets to 20 as Lewis McGlasson prepares to inbound. Justin Phillips doesn't use the screen, crosses over to the right side, takes it all the way in, and he's fouled across the arm by Sales. A hard fall for Justin Phillips, who's a little bit slow to get up, but he is able to regain his composure, and he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Second foul on Anthony Sales. It wasn't a particularly hard foul, it was just on an awkward position of Justin Fields, and so he took a hard fall, but is able to get himself up, and now a chance to make it a 7-point game. Phillips makes the first free throw. Just his 11th attempt from the line this year. He's made 6. Now here's his 12th foul shot of the season. First 2 points of the game for Justin Phillips, 57-50, 9.5 minutes on the clock. Right side, it's Sales. Gives it up on the wing to Freericks, and he misses this time. Good look for Freericks. He had been feeling it, made 2 3-pointers this half, but unsuccessful that time. So another chance for the Saints to get within 2 scores. Ochiaka, guarded on the outside by Zernich, tries to get it into the cutting E.J. Charles. Charles is unable to finish at the rim. Here's Kenny. Colin Kenny drives, and he's fouled on the shot. Second foul on Justin Phillips. Just number 4 on the team. Free throw for Kenny is good. 58-50. Starters coming back on the floor for the Fighting Saints. All 5 starters are out there now. Jem Kerseman back on the floor for Lewis. He replaces Vlado Zernic, who's played big minutes off the bench and played really well. Kenny makes them both 59-50, and we're right back in that comfortable position, a 9-point game. Darius Wright fires across to Carter Fahey. Lob for Charles, who finishes the alley-oop. Lewis put on the full court press, and the Saints beat it with ease. Huge play for the Fighting Saints, now trying to carry that momentum onto defense. Colin Kenny, pull-up jumper is good. E.J. Charles a little bit overzealous on the fake, and Kenny has scored the last 4 for Lewis. He's got 9 points. No matter how many big plays either team makes, we always seem to be right back here. 9-point game. Fahey on the cut, able to finish with a reverse layup. Saints are clicking on offense right now. Timeout called by St. Francis. A late acknowledgement of that timeout. Lewis was halfway up the floor. Is that not a timeout? What are they calling here? They pointed at the St. Francis bench. It's not a timeout, but a foul, I think. Or just a warning in this case. It is Lewis basketball. Jameer Hill is fouled. It's number 5 on St. Francis. Hill inbounds it to Kerseman. Bounced over to Vanderheit. Lewis working it along the outside here. Hill is back at half court with the shot clock at 10. Drive and kick. Freericks finds Kenny. Kenny's been hot, and he stays hot with a 3-pointer. Colin Kenny's had a huge second half off the bench today. Kenny came into play averaging just 3 points per game. He's got 10 today. Make that 12 after the 3. Carter Fahey looking for Aitrana, but Arte didn't have him. Fahey puts it on the floor. Pull up from the baseline, misses short. Charles comes flying in and called for going over the back of Vanderheit. And now they're walking to the other side of the floor, so they may have called a technical there. Technical foul against St. Francis. That was just the 5th on the team, but it will result in free throws here for Lewis. So Freericks, who rarely misses from the line, gets to shoot the technical shots. He's only missed 5 free throws all year, shooting better than 90%. And he goes 2 of 2. Freericks didn't score in the first half. Team's leading scorer on the season. He's got 10 here in the second half. And Lewis's lead, which has been as high as 13, was cut down to 6. It's back up to 12 with the ball and a chance to extend. Freericks in the corner. He hits the 3, a 5-point possession for Bo Freericks. And Lewis has their biggest advantage today, 69-54. Saints need a bucket badly here. It's Nadav Gerner surveying the scene. He bounces it up to the top of the key. Gerner moves in towards the baseline, bumped by Freericks. And a foul on Lewis. That's their 5th. First on Freericks.
Lewis fouled to Bo Freericks, his first, team 5th.
Gerner inbounds it to Fahey. Huge possession for St. Francis. Bounced in to Darius Wright. The shot doesn't count. Wright was able to finish that one on the layup, but the official ruled foul called on the floor. It's only number 6 on Lewis, so not only does the basket not count, but he won't even get free throws out of it. Both teams have hit their foul limit now. Inbounded to E.J. Charles. Charles lays it up, and his foul does count towards the shot. So he'll have a chance at a three-point play. Saints went into that possession knowing they needed points. They're going to get at least 2 of them. They also forced Lewis to commit 3 fouls on that possession. And so that could pay dividends later, as they'll be at the free throw line on any further infraction. E.J. Charles to the line. Charles just picked up his 9th and 10th points of the game. Looking for number 11 right here. He's got it. 69-57 our score. Just over 6 minutes to play. Comfortable lead for Lewis, but still a lot of time left. Saints have gone on a few good runs already tonight. In fact, they started by scoring the first 7 points of the game. Lewis didn't score until 3 minutes in. Mariana Anderson is fouled on the outside. Bad foul that time on the Saints, sending Anderson to the free throw line. Not a familiar position for Anderson. He's only taken 4 free throws this year. This is 1-1. And he misses the front end. Turned out to be a good foul after all. Darius Wright passes out of the double team to Carter Fahey, and Fahey finishes. Good ball work right there by Wright and Fahey. Carter Fahey's got 19 points. The deficit is back to 10. E.J. Charles knocks it loose. Fahey picks up the ball for the steal. Ahead for Gerner, and Nadav Gerner lays it in. Timeout Lewis. 5.5 minutes to play. 8-point game. 69-61. And the Saints have done it again. They've gone on a run after Lewis started to pull away. And it's happened again and again in this game. Flyers have taken control. They've extended their lead to 11, 12, 13. In this case, 15 points. And the Saints have immediately responded. They've scored 7 points in a row. I misspoke earlier, and I said this game would not count towards the records. It will. Saints on a 2-game winning streak coming in to move above 500 for the season. Lewis has won 2 of 3, but still having their worst season record-wise that they've ever had under Scott Trost. So this is a big opportunity for Trost and for the Flyers to right the ship. This will be their 3rd win in their last 4 games. They'll go back into the conference schedule after this and try to make a run late in the year. I mentioned it earlier. Since Scott Trost took over, this team has had just 1 losing season in 15 years. And they're on pace for their 2nd this year. They've looked very good at times tonight, but just haven't been able to hold on to their momentum when they've had it. It seemed like they were getting set to close the door once and for all when they had the 69-54 lead here. And immediately the Saints forced a few turnovers, got some big buckets in transition, and here we are, 8-point game, and that one will count. It's a 10-point game as Jameer Hill takes the contact and scores. One thing that the Flyers have done really well tonight. They have come up big out of timeouts. And then Hill, who's got 12 points, will try to make this a 3-point play. He does. It's 72-61. A lot of basketball left here. The Saints have certainly picked things up offensively. When they've struggled tonight, it has not been on this end of the floor by and large. It's been on the defensive side. Nadav Gerner pulls it out to the wing. Gerner looks inside, gives it up top to Wright. Down low, Carter Fahey. Fahey finds a wide open Aitor Anabadarte. Anabadarte had a huge mismatch down low against Bo Freericks, and he took advantage of it. Used the body to clear that open space. And Aitor Anabadarte now has 9 points. Knocked away by E.J. Charles. He's fouled by Hill, and he'll go to the free throw line. Charles a little bit shaken up as he hit the ground at the end of that play. He jumped the passing lane, knocked it loose, and then he was pulled to the ground and trying to come up with a clean steal. Charles is back on his feet and walking towards the line. He'll get a 1-and-1. Front end is good. He'll get one more. 8-point game here, 72-64. It has felt like this is about as close as the Saints have been. They did at one point here in the second half get to within 6 points. And they're close to that now, a 7-point game. 72-65, 13 points for E.J. Charles. He's one of 3 players on St. Francis in double figures. Aitor Anabadarte has got 9. Jameer Hill looking around, deflected by the foot of E.J. Charles. It's a kicking violation. It'll stay with the Flyers. Hill backs it up. Looking for the screen from Zernich. Instead, he passes off to Vanderheit. Vanderheit gives to Freericks. Freericks backs up. Shot clock's down to 5. Makes his move. Kicks it out to Hill. Hill, contested jumper. No good. Rebound, E.J. Charles. Saints have done a much better job on the defensive glass of late. Darius Wright backs it up. Fires across court to Anabadarte. Aitor Anabadarte fakes the pass, drives, and scores with the right hand. 5-point game. This is as close as it's been since about midway through the first half. Here's Kenny. Out to Hill. Vanderheit, open 3. Short. Rebound secured by Carter Fahey. St. Francis has the ball. They've got all the momentum, and they can make this a one-score game on this possession. Darius Wright knocked away by Vlado Zernich. Zernich going one-on-one with Wright. He lays it in. What a big play by Vlado Zernich. He turns a potential one-possession game back into a 7-point lead for Lewis with under 3 minutes to go. Zernich has 15 to pace the Flyers tonight. Charles for 3. Missed it off the back rim, and a rebound brought down by Zernich. All of a sudden, Lewis has regained some control. They seem to be on their heels just a minute ago. Kenny around the perimeter, chased back by E.J. Charles. Knocked away, another steal for St. Francis. Charles ahead to Anabadarte. Spins around Zernich and lays it in. Timeout called with 2:11 to play. 74-69. This one coming down to the wire. And even though Lewis has had a double-digit lead for a good percentage of the second half, it never really felt like they were on the verge of pulling away, other than that one moment when the technical foul and a 5-point possession for Bo Freericks turned it into a 15-point lead. That was the one moment that it seemed like they had maybe put this one away or had started to put this away. Other than that, the Saints have been in it all the way, but Still, I don't know anybody would have thought 10 or 20 minutes ago that this game would be coming down to the wire the way that it has. Saints have gotten big contributions up and down the lineup. Carter Fahey, 19 points on 8 of 16 shooting. E.J. Charles, 13 points on 5 of 11. Aitor Anabatarte, an efficient 13 points, 5 of 6 from the field. And Darius Wright has chipped in 10 points as well. Most of those early for him. He's got just 1 point here in the second half. But as a team, St. Francis is shooting well over 50%. Lewis is shooting 50% from the field as well. It's been a good offensive game for both teams. Not a lot of turnovers either. Just 18 combined turnovers in this game. Five-point game, Lewis possession. There have not been a lot of turnovers overall, but during their recent successful play in which the Saints have gone on a 15-5 run, they've picked up the defensive intensity. They have gotten a couple of steals. See if Lewis can hold on to it this time and set up a shot. They do. Kenny for three, and he hits it. Colin Kenny has been huge tonight. Kenny and Zernich off the bench. They've been the key for Lewis. Colin Kenny now has 15. He and Zernich have combined for 30 points on 11 of 17 shooting. Anabatarte drives, misses the layup. Rebounded by Zernich. And now Lewis is trying to salt it away. A bucket here would be enormous for them. This is the biggest defensive possession of the game for the Saints. And Vanderheit is fouled going to the rim. It was a 5-point game just 30 seconds ago. And now Lewis can make it a 4-possession lead. And Vanderheit can make both of these free throws. 2 shots. First one is good. Vanderheit makes them both, 79-69, and now the Saints have got to score in bunches, and they've got to do it in a hurry. Lewis tries to speed him up just a little bit with the defense extending full court. Darius Wright holds it on the wing. Up top, Phillips. Wright's got just 10 seconds to shoot. Takes a contested three-pointer and misses it. Rebounded by Anderson. And that might just do it for Lewis. Saints have fought very hard in this one, but they're coming up short here in the final minute. Hill bounces over to Zernich. Zernich to Vanderheit, and he's fouled. Van Vanderheit, 71% free throw shooter, made both of his attempts on the last trip to the line. And now trying to put it away once and for all with 2 more here. He's got 6 points in the game. He hits the first. Lewis McGlasson is coming in for E.J. Charles, who just picked up his 3rd foul. McGlasson will provide the Saints a little extra shooting on this next offensive possession. Two for two for Vanderheit. Full timeout called by Lewis. 48.3 showing on the clock. 81-69 our score. St. Francis was down by as many as 15 points in this game. It was 69-54. They went on a 15-5 run. Really tightened things up. But here we are in the final minutes, and they find themselves trailing by double digits once again. Tough run late in the game for the Fighting Saints, who really only had one real rough patch in this game. After a hot start, about midway through the first half, they fell apart for just maybe 5 to 7 minutes, and Lewis ran away, dominating that stretch of the game, opening up a double-digit lead. And then the Saints righted the ship. They've kept it close the entire second half. It really was just that one stretch of play that was their undoing today. And they'll try to pull off the miracle comeback in the final minute of play coming out of this timeout. But at the moment, it appears Lewis is going to get out of here with their third victory in their last 4 games. It was certainly not an easy one for them. Aitor Anabadarte inbounds to Louis McGlasson. Saints have to move quickly here. Anabadarte across the timeline to Darius Wright. Wright dribbles through a double team. Lewis playing a zone defense now as Wright misses short on the 3. And on the fight for the rebound, a foul is called on Vlado Zrnic. That's one thing that Lewis did not want to do right there. Give St. Francis the chance to score with the clock stopped. Kind of amazing for as active as Zrnic has been in this game. That's only his first foul. Aitor Anabadarte is perfect from the line today. And he misses the front end of the 1-and-1, but it's an offensive rebound for Fahey. 3-pointer is short, rebound Zrnic. And he's fouled quickly by Darius Wright. Vlado Zrnic, just 1 rebound shy of a double-double now, 15 points and 9 boards. He'll get 2 shots. Misses the first. Lewis led this one by 9 at halftime. Their biggest lead has been 15. Twice in the second half, St. Francis has pulled within 2 possessions. Closest they've been was 74-69, but Lewis has scored 8 in a row since then. Louis McGlasson in trouble, finds Wright in the corner, air ball on the 3. Rebound chased down by Anabadarte. Final 15 seconds, Aitor Anabadarte spins into the lane, and he lays it in. 82-71, inbounded to Anthony Sales. Saints still playing hard on defense and still fouling. Down double digits with 9 seconds left. Nadav Gerner will send Anthony Sales to the line. St. Francis returns to conference action this weekend. They'll be back on the road for the next 2. It's a 3-game conference road trip, which is this non-conference, non-division matchup with Lewis separating it. They'll be at Trinity International on Saturday, back home on Saturday, February 4th. 2 for 2 for Sales. St. Francis will get 1 last possession here. Nadav Gerner gives it up to Darius Wright. Wright back to Gerner. Gerner at the buzzer, fires the 3 and misses, so 84-71 is our final score. Would have been only too fitting if Gerner had been able to make that final 3. A 10-point margin of victory seems about right in this one, considering that's pretty much what it was the entire second half. But thanks to free throw shooting and a couple of big defensive plays, Lewis is able to pull away in the final 2 minutes. And they take out St. Francis 84-71. It was a 5-point game with 2 minutes remaining. But credit to the Flyers. They put the clamps down when they needed to. And they secure the victory, led by their bench today. Vlado Zrnic had 16 points off the bench to lead the Flyers. And Colin Kenny had 15. The 2 of them combining for 31 points and outscoring St. Francis's bench, who managed a combined 10 points. Starters played well for the Fighting Saints. Carter Fahey, 19 points on 8 of 17 shooting. Aitor Anabadarte had 15. Fahey, in addition to those 19 points, also had a team leading 7 rebounds and 6 assists. E.J. Charles finished with 13 points tonight, as well as 5 steals. A lot of positives out of this game for the Fighting Saints today. As I mentioned just a moment ago, it was really just one bad stretch in the first half that tripped them up today. As they see their 2-game winning streak come to an end, they fall to 10-9 on the season. Lewis wins their 3rd in their last 4 contests. They improve to 8-11 on the season. That'll do it for today's broadcast. Thanks for tuning in as Lewis comes to Joliet and knocks off their crosstown rivals 84-71. The Saints are back in action on the road this weekend. They'll return home on February 4th, and that'll be our next broadcast. So make sure you're tuned in to the USF Sports Network for that one. As always, you can keep up with the Fighting Saints at GoFightingSaints.com. In the interim, until next time, Terry Bonadonna signing off from the University of St. Francis. Have a good evening.